This video is about how to write a descriptive paragraph. Step 1. Find a topic and explore it. Choose something that makes you feel a certain way, something that appeals to the senses. This might sound odd, but one thing that really activates my senses is my copy of the OED. Yes, that's right, the Oxford English Dictionary. I love to look at it. The smell of it is nostalgic. The weight of it substantial. To me, it's a really cool book. Once you find your topic, you need to explore it. Ask yourself some things like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Sorry, I won't be tasting the OED. What does it feel like? What does it remind you of? What does it how does it make you feel? What is special about it? So what does my object look like? Well, in its case, it looks like an imposing tower. But when you open it, the words inside the text itself are tiny. You need to use a magnifying glass to see these words. How does it sound? How does it smell? When I turn the large pages, it kind of sounds like someone turning the pages of a newspaper. It also sort of reminds me of the smell of the library at my elementary school. What does this book feel like? It's heavy. You know, kind of like dense, like cast iron. What does it remind me of? If you've ever seen The Lord of the Rings, it kind of reminds me of those ancient tomes that Gandalf reads when he visits Gondor to learn about the ring. How does it make me feel? The OED makes me feel insignificant against the rich history of the English language that is contained within. What is special about this book? As large and heavy as it is, its physical shape and size are tiny in comparison to the deep knowledge it contains. So that was an example of my thought process as I try to explore or probe my topic, the OED, for descriptive details. Now on to step 2. In step 2, you should take all your descriptive notes and rework them into complete sentences. Try to do the following. Use a variety of sentence structures. Employ vivid vocabulary to make your topic really come alive. And show, don't just tell. Reading should be an act of discovery. Don't just explain everything. Allow your readers to discover things through details and inference. Okay, so I'll take one of my details from step 1 and I'll rework it into a complete sentence. Let's use the detail about how the book looked. It said, in its case, it looks like an imposing tower. I also said that the words were tiny. So let's rework it and say something like, in its case, it stands towering over the other books on the shelf. But when it's opened, it reveals the tiniest of words, only to be deciphered by the included magnifying glass. And, you know, I'm not totally sure about the wording, but we can play around with the wording later. Okay, so you go through your details and rework them into sentences, and you move to step 3. Draft your paragraph. Like most paragraphs, we want to start with an engaging topic sentence. Then choose your best sentences from step 2 to fill out the body of the paragraph. Be sure to organize your sentences in a logical, meaningful way. Finally, finish with a concluding sentence that expresses the importance of your topic. For my topic sentence, I want to avoid saying something like, the topic I'm going to describe is blah, blah, blah. Rather, I want to pull the reader in with something like, when I was hired for my first job as an English teacher, my future wife gave me a copy of the compact Oxford English Dictionary. Then add my descriptive sentences in a logical order from step 2. In its case, this book stands towering over other books on the shelf. But when opened, it reveals the tiniest of words decipherable only by a magnifying glass. Notice how I revised that sentence a bit from the earlier notes. Okay, and keep adding sentences that make sense together. The sound of the turning of the broad, thin pages conjures up memories of my grandfather reading the newspaper. The aroma is not unlike that of the Feeding Hills Elementary School library where I learned to read. It's a book that can invoke a sense of personal insignificance with its rich history of the English language. I think I want evoke, or I'm not sure if it's invoke or evoke. Notice how I left out the one about how it reminds me of a book Gandalf would read. It just didn't fit. Make sure all your sentences flow together logically. Finally, create a concluding sentence that emphasizes the importance of the thing you are describing. And again, try not to say, this is important because blah, blah, blah. I finished mine with, as ponderous as its physical shape seems, it is tiny in comparison to the deep knowledge it contains. And that's how to write a descriptive paragraph. Make sure you re-watch the video and pause and take notes. Good luck with your descriptive paragraph.